Alright folks, welcome to another beer review, and today we're going back over to the Mighty Track out of Manchester, and this is a can of Cowboy Town, which is an American brown ale brewed with Centennial, Chinook and Challenger, 5% ABV. Really like the sort of half label on this. For some reason it reminds me of like American craft for some reason. But yeah, looking very, very nice. Almost has a 70s bachelor pad wallpaper look to it. Somewhat fitting for the style. So yeah, been enjoying some really good brown ales recently. And it's good to see that breweries are doing stuff like this. Will it be like a lot of the others that I've had recently, where they taste more West Coast than a West Coast IPA? We shall see. Using brand appropriate glassware for this one. Probably literally the heaviest glass that I've ever had. You could kill someone with this glass. But then again, you could kill anyone with glass because it's very sharp. Yeah, so beer in the glass then. And yeah, pretty much dark oaky brown. There's a little bit of light coming through, but a lovely 1 finger's worth of a tan, dark beige looking head. Very nice indeed. Certainly looks the part. On the nose then. Syrupy, sweet, but not like vibrant sweetness. Yeah, like demerara, sugar, molasses, that sort of thing. It's not as hoppy as I thought it would be. Maybe it's more like subtly hopped, so you get more on the flavour as opposed to the aroma. It's got that slight licorice, like a fruity licorice. You know, like something of the ilk of like strawberry laces, that sort of thing. The hoppiness is coming out a little bit more now that it's been sitting in the glass. I don't know if the sort of like the chemical reaction would be that quick, but it smells very, very nice. It's a bit more sweeter and cakier than I thought it would be. But there's like a very slight sort of piney element. Very, very slight though. Who remembers when people were calling people fascists for using that hand gesture? Anyway, American culture, isn't it really? Everyone's a fascist in America. That's not a sweeping statement. I far from believe that. It's just that the way people go on and get upset about the tiniest little thing. I won't carry on because I might start sounding like Jim Davidson or Nigel Farage, which you never want to. Never aspire to be someone like that. Anyway, weird tangent. Probably annoyed some snowflakes there. Both on the left and the right. Because they're both as... no, we won't get into it. Ruined the beer review already. Head's dissipated. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, folks. Interesting. Much like the nose, you get the hops in there, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's like hoppy. There's a hop bitterness on the back end. That licorice is definitely there, but it's not as fruity as the licorice aroma was. Look at this hair, how ridiculous. It's just lost any sort of shape and it's just like a dome of Boris Johnson. I like to crack his dome. You can't say violent things against politicians. You should know better, Peter. Not that I've been there before, because I never would, because violence is not the answer. If you have to resort to violence, you've lost the argument. The more I'm drinking it, the more I'm getting like a upfront, a subtle cherry, berry, blackcurrant sort of flavour. There's a pininess towards the back end, which then just turns into a really satisfying, gentle, hoppy bitterness. It's not abrasive at all with the hop flavours. And when you think of like an American hoppy brown, well, mind you, it doesn't advertise itself as a hoppy brown ale, just calls itself an American brown. Maybe on the product description it might allude to it being a hoppy beer, but I certainly don't think I'd class it as hoppy. It's a little bit more earthy. There's a woodiness to it. It's got very slight similarities to one of my favourite styles, the good old-fashioned, Farage coming out in full force, the good old-fashioned British English strong ale. But it's one of those things, really, where every sip, you get something different than the previous sip. It's not what I was expecting it to be, especially with Track's reputation of the utilisation of hops. But am I disappointed? Hell no, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Understated, I'm going to say. An understated, slightly hoppy American brown ale, but has sort of like characteristics of a British brown ale or an English strong ale, something like that. Because there's always that risk if you throw those hops in there, it's going to go in that direction. And like I said at the start of the video, sometimes these sorts of beers have a much more West Coast feel and flavour than a brewery attempting to brew a West Coast IPA. And I think I've mentioned West Coast IPAs a lot in recent reviews, but I just don't think we're able to, at this point, brew them like we used to, or like what we used to like expect a West Coast to taste. Maybe to get a true like feeling of a West Coast style IPA, you have to have a classic American craft brewed West Coast IPA, because I don't even think Track, as much as I love Track, I've never been blown away by any of their West Coast styles or attempts at doing it. And I don't think UK breweries can do that anymore, just because they're so used to brewing these in-your-face, pale, luminous, sweet fruit bowl, you know, New England style IPAs. You know, when was the last time you had a proper palate wrecker? Do you know what I mean? Or like an oniony, garlicky, marmaladey, bitter West Coast. Can't for the life of me. I think I've had a few good attempts recently, but I'm really enjoying seeing a lot more breweries do styles like this. And Track have done it really, really well, but it sort of like subverts expectations, because it does taste like something you would expect a few years ago to see on the shelf of bottle shop from America in like a big bomber bottle. And I miss that side of things. As much as I think canning and canning technology and techniques have really helped brewers, and you can have hoppier beers that will taste fresher for months down the line with very little sort of like hop fade, where it turns into a, you know, slightly fruity barley wine. I do miss good old-fashioned big bottles of American craft beer. But a lot of the stuff we get now is in cans. And like I said, I think the best example of an old beer in can was Other Half's Triple Miler Daydream, which was just given to me by Harry, aka Blue Nose Beer Reviews, and it's probably the best triple IPA that I've ever had. And it was about more than half a year old, and it was brought over. But even like the technologies and the techniques and the cool ship sort of stuff, and how quickly and efficiently American stuff can get here to the UK through distribution, it's just amazing. It really, really is. But I do have that romantic, like, sentiment when it comes to American craft beer. Just, I miss big bottles of an American brewery's beer. But hey ho, it is what it is. And the beer scene at the moment here in the UK is probably, I wouldn't say it's the best it's ever been, because there's too many breweries closing, and tap rooms shutting, bars shutting, pubs closing. But I think the quality of beer right now is the best it's ever been, and I think it's almost to the point of maybe oversaturation. Maybe the bubble is slightly not bursting, but there's a little pinprick, but that's easily, you can put, can you save a bubble from deflating? I don't know, I'm not a scientist. But yeah, licorice is a little bit of a spiciness there, like a rye-like spiciness. It's very, very good. Beautiful mouthfeel as well for a 5% ABV beer. A little bit sticky. Leaves a film around your mouth, or the inside of your mouth. And yeah, I would happily have this keg. This would be perfect. A mini keg of this. Yes, please. Definitely going to enjoy the rest of that. So that was a Cowboy Town by Track. Cowboy Town American Brown. I just love the label, and it reminds me of the labels they used to have on when they were bottling. But yeah, lovely stuff. Highly recommended. If you see it, pick it up. If you've tried it, let me know what you think. What's some of your favourite brown ales? What's some of your favourite Track beers? Links to Track in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching. You all take care, stay safe, and I shall see you later. Bye.